Let's go. Hey guys, Scott Short here, Loan Depot. My NMLS number is 225998. Here, my good friend. Push it that way.
Meagan Harris with Golden State Finance Authority.
All right. So Meagan is our good buddy from Golden State Finance Authority. That she's the trainer for all lenders who need to get trained. That's what she does. So can't get better than trainer, because they always say the best personnel program is the trainer. Because if you got to teach it, you better know it's up inside out and upside down, right?
True that, Scott. Got to know your staff.
And one thing I love about Meagan is she's awesome. She's open with us, but she has an underwriter's background. So she comes in from an underwriter's background. A lot of people don't have that background. So she's phenomenal for us lenders to utilize. But this conversation is going to be for our consumers who are buying a house. So we're talking about Golden State Finance Authority, GSFA. We always put acronyms on somebody, right? We're talking about your government programs, FHA, VA, and USDA. So let's crack that down pretty quick on. So on FHA, we can do, well, I'll keep going for it. Sorry, I don't want to drop there yet. So let's go down to, let's talk about the biggest question here. What's the most, how much can you help me? What can you do for me from GSFA? How can you help me as a consumer?
I'm glad you asked, Scott. So on Open Doors government loans, we can provide up to 6.5% in down payment and closing cost assistance.
And so break that. How's that 6.5% work out from the program? So if you're getting 6.5% of the loan amount, correct? And then how's that money appears? There's some interesting ways you do governments with the gift pieces and the second mortgage subs. Let's understand that piece.
Definitely. So basically, the assistance provided to you under Open Doors is going to be a two-part format, basically, right? So one portion will be a second mortgage, which is a 2% second mortgage. The second mortgage doesn't have any interest on it, so there's no payments, there's no amortization. It's going to be the same amount from year 1 to year 30. And the reason year 30 is important is because that's the length of time that the second has before it's mature and you have to pay it back. Now, you'll also have to pay it back in the event that you refinance the mortgage or sell the property. So basically, in any event where that first mortgage is paid off, that's when that 2% second mortgage will have to be paid off as well. And then the other half of the assistance, or portion of the assistance anyway, that you receive above 2% from the program will be a gift. So as Scott pointed out, 6.5% assistance is coming from Open Doors, right? 2% of that is going to be your deferred second mortgage. Again, no interest, no payments. And then 4.5% of that is going to be a gift to you that you do not ever have to pay back for any reason. So the gift portion of the assistance is immediately forgiven at close of escrow. And the only thing you'll ever have to repay is the 2%.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Because that's kind of thing people don't understand that piece. So people recognize that. Grant, gift, free money. We like that free money at the very end. But the
Yes,
but the second she's talking about, it's there, it sleeps until till once events happen, sell the house, refinance the house, or 30 years go by, you got to pay off at that point. But that time is no interest on it. So why would you let's sleep, baby. Let's sleep.
Exactly.
Cool. And all this money we're talking about here can be used for down payment or closing costs.
Correct. It can be used for down payment, which includes the earnest money deposit. That's the money you usually make to kind of hold your bid in place. And then we have appraisal reports, credit reports, all the fees that the lender charges. Those can all be offset by the assistance we're providing, as well as down payment. And even if you go over, let's say you've been reimbursed for everything and there's still money left over, you can use that excess to pay down the balance on the first mortgage. So you end up paying less interest and make potentially fewer payments over the life of the loan.
And the better part is what she's saying right there, transferring English, is that if you do lower the loan amount down, you're still paying the same figure off here, you pay it off quicker.
Exactly.
You're paying more.
Cut to the chase, Scott. Pay it off.
So that's all good. So then let's go down to occupancy. So basically, occupancy says, there's no first-time home buyer requirement for your program, right?
Correct. We do not have a first-time home buyer requirement. So what that means is whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you've owned property in the past and you're looking to acquire a different primary residence using this program, then you're absolutely eligible, provided you meet the rest of the requirements for the program.
Boom, good answer, good answer. And then also we talk about this is that we just kind of alluded to right there. So let's say if I have a house right now, I live in my house right now, it's too small. I need a bigger house, right? I want to turn this house into what they call generation wealth, right? Generation wealth. So I'll keep this house, turn to rental property, buy another house using your program. Break that down for me, please.
Yeah, so if you already own a property and you're planning on retaining that property and using this program to buy a different primary residence, then you will have to follow whatever agencies you're using's guideline on that. Typically, the conventional program is where there's more flexibility with more properties. And with government, it's more persnickety. So you would just have to follow their guidelines on that. And guidelines are basically just rules that these loan agencies have in place in order to let you borrow the money.
And what she's saying in English and Chinese, just kidding, just English, that if you have an FHA house right now, right, that's your current house, FHA finance, still FHA finance. If you want to buy a new house with FHA financing to live in, FHA has policy on that. So you gotta be very careful. They say you have to be over 100 miles away. So our stipulation she's talking about, so you make sure your lender understands your current house is FHA, means FHA for the new house. They need to break down what FHA says as FHA. It's not Golden State, it's FHA's rule on that. So we want to be clear about that, but it's good. And so other thing we always talked about is that, price of houses, crazy prices, and a lot of people can't afford by themselves. They need some assistance from family or whatever. So if my mom wants to co-sign for me, she'll live with me, and I don't want her to live with me, right? God bless you. We'll talk about that later. That's no story. But let's say, if your mom, she wants to co-sign for you, has her own house, and she wants to co-sign you to buy your house. Now, I understand from what I'm looking here is that FHA is the only way we can do that conversation, but with VA, USDA, they don't allow that. Is that your understanding?
So my understanding, Scott, is that FHA is okay with you having a co-signer that doesn't live with you in the property, okay, under these programs. In terms of USDA and VA, that's typically not allowed. But again, that's not a rule we set.
Right.
There are rules that we say, hey, it's up to VA, it's up to FHA, it's up to USDA, and that's one of them.
Right, boom, there we go. Cool. Now, here's my favorite conversation. My favorite conversation is going to be, right? I'm going to go with this one here. So with my friends with Govy loans, we're talking about FHA only, not VA and USDA, we're FHA boys, right? Girls, whatever you call them, that can I buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex for an FHA loan?
You know what, Scott, that's my favorite part of this too, right? So the answer is yes. Using FHA financing VA, you can buy a property up to 4 units under the program, provided, again, that it's approved, right? Your agency has to say yes, but it is allowed under the program. And when you talk about needing other people's money to assist you with owning a home or assist you with your mortgage, that can really come in handy because it positions you to, first of all, you do have to occupy at least one of those units. If you do buy a duplex, you have to live in one of the sides, right? But you do have the ability to rent out the other side or have a family member or, several families, right? Depending on how many units you have in that property. And units just represents the number of spaces available for a family to occupy. And so if you have a 1-unit property, that's typically one house. If you have a duplex, that's considered 2 units because it's 2 houses squished together.
Sandwich. A little bit jelly in the middle, right? Just kidding.
Right.
But now, so one thing really good about the Govy program, there's no income limits, right?
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah, because a lot of people are, with down payment assistance, think they make too much money. And that's really not going to be the case. And so with Open Doors, FHA, VA borrowers, you don't have to worry about any kind of income limit. USDA is a program that's income sensitive anyway, right? That's an income sensitive product. And so they have income limits. But again, we say USDA is going to tell you what their income limit is. But if you're doing FHA or VA, then you don't have to worry about an income limit with the program.
Right. So kind of drill a little deeper on USDA looks at household income, everybody in the house, not just people on the loan, but everybody in the house is income. So that's another conversation for a different day. So talk to the lender about that piece, make sure you understand it, because whatever they said loan limit is or income limit is, if your household exceeds that, that's a problem because they don't care who's on the loan app. They're looking at the whole house. That's USDA, not Golden State. So we'll make sure that's clear there. That's cool. And then what else? Okay. We're cool. And then so the conventional loans, if you have income greater than a certain percentage, you won't do a condo. But with the government loans, you don't care that you still do condos, right?
Yeah, so with government loans, we can 100% finance properties that are condos, provided they're approved condos,
Right.
regardless of the borrower's income level.
Cool. And approved condos, what she means that there's, if FHA, they have a list of approved condos that they've inspected, they know they're good, and it's not a problem for them. So tell your lender, if you're looking for a condo, make sure they understand that. They go to FHA's website to pull up that condo complex or that home association, you want to call it. They'll be on the list. If they're on the list, you ask that lender if they're able to get the product put on the list. That's another conversation. I ain't going to the rabbit hole because Meagan will kill me if I go to that rabbit hole.
Exactly. And long story short, guys, you're not the one that's supposed to be looking all this information up. This is for your lender to do. So these are great questions for you to have in your arsenal. But keep in mind, all this legwork Scott's talking about is up to your lender.
Cool. So I'm gonna go back really quick through the eligible. So eligible properties, we have single family residence 1 to 4. So single unit, duplex, triplex, or fourplex that can play in. We have PUDs, the PUDs, the plan unit developments. That's okay. We got townhouses are okay, condos are okay, but what's not okay?
Manufactured homes are not okay, nor are investment or second homes or vacation homes. So keep that in mind.
Yep. All good too. So here's our next favorite topic to talk about: credit scores. Break it down.
Yeah. So on Open Doors, FHA and VA borrowers need a minimum 620 credit score to qualify. If you're using USDA financing under Open Doors, you need a minimum 640 credit score to qualify.
Cool. Now, if my credit, so let's carry it back into the FHA section. If my credit score is a certain point, and I say 620 or 640, whatever, there are some different. We're not talking about interest rates, but we're talking about different boxes to look at interest rates. So it will change if there's if let's say if your debt to income ratio, if your house payment plus all your debt divided by your gross income is greater than 45%, then you have a different box to look at, for rates and stuff. We're not talking about rates, but can you break down those different how they look category wise?
Yeah, I think that's an important point to mention, Scott. So basically, what happens is if your credit score is less than 660 on Open Doors and you're doing an FHA, VA, or USDA loan, your options are going to be a little bit different than folks whose credit score is 660 or better. And so by different, your max assistance will probably be capped somewhere around 5.5%. That would be the max available to you. And then as you mentioned, Scott, with the debt to income ratio, the max debt to income ratio allowed on the Open Doors government is going to be 55%. And so, but as you mentioned, if the home buyer's debt to income ratio is over 45%, their options will be different as well. So again, we're looking at that 5.5% or less assistance, and all of that can vary from day to day depending on what's happening in the market, but the general rule and guideline of the program.
So what we're saying right now is just, it's not something for you to know. Just recognize when they give you a different rate or different combination, recognize it's not them taking advantage of you. It's basically this is how the program works, but they need to show you this stuff. They need to show you the guidelines. Say, here's the box, here's what's up, and go with you line by line. If not doing that, I think you should explore different people, because that's not friendly, because these products are well made for consumers, but our lending language to consumers, sometimes gets a little kind of muddy water, as you'll call it. That's
Definitely.
That's my clean water.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you brought that up, Scott, because if you're, as a consumer, you see the program says 7% is available, but your lender's telling you they can only do 5%, you're going to have questions, right? So it's important to have that loan officer who's going to walk you through those options one by one so that you fully understand what's going on.
Yep. And that's just the, that's kind of my litmus test of a good lender. The lender is going to walk you through these pieces and show you all the pieces versus saying that's how it is. That's not cool. I mean, I'm not 3 years old no more, so I make more bank payments. So you got to give me some breakdown, because I ain't no. So sorry about that. That's my tangent of the week. And then let's see. I think our last topic we should talk about is just So that's what I say, like, I think you said you closed on a house in September of this year, right? So you basically moved in within a 60-day window. So can you break down how the 60-day thing works and why that is for lenders?
So I wasn't speaking about this year.
Okay, sorry. So whatever year that was, who cares?
Yeah, a while ago when it
Okay.
happened. But yeah, so there's, in order for a property to be considered owner occupied, there's certain rules around that, and there's certain risks involved with making mortgage loans. And there's fraud out there. People are buying homes and, they'll pretend that they're going to live in the property and they turn it into an investment. And, that wasn't the agreement that was made with the lender. So in order for the lender to protect their interest, right? And just for the record, they don't own your home. They just own the money that they let you borrow to buy the home. And they're using the home as collateral.
Yep.
So in order to protect their interest, right, make sure they get the money back, they have to give you certain rules to follow in order to let you borrow the money in the first place. And one of them is that you're owner occupying the property, which means you live there. And so there are cases where you have to make improvements, as I did. Maybe you're buying a fixer upper, or you're just, you want to remodel or add a room, whatever the case is. Or maybe just, again, you have loose ends that need to be tied up. That 60-day window is the window that the lender gives you to occupy that property. Cool. So that you're making good on the commitment of owner occupying it.
Thanks. So here's someone will throw a curveball at you, because you like me in curveballs, right? So I apologize in advance. So FHA is a program called Energy Efficient Mortgage. Can we attach that to your program?
So with the Open Doors program, we do not have an energy efficient mortgage option available. We do have that program available under other down payment assistance program that we have. But for Open Doors, an energy efficient mortgage, guys, just so you know, is just an option where you use FHA financing to make energy efficient modifications to your house. And so sometimes there's an extra benefit with a program such as our other one that you can use that'll provide you the assistance as a gift if you're using that kind of financing, but that's not a feature of the Open Doors program.
And so what she's saying is that they have multiple programs. They were focused on the Open Door program. They have a platinum program. We'll talk another day. That's going to have the energy efficient mortgage piece. And they got a lot of cool stuff, because you know, platinum, they got a lot more stuff. Like, actually, it's kind of like bing, bing, bing. It's kind of like, I saw those things, the pachinko machines as the balls come down, it's kind of like watching it go, this. So it's really cool. So next one or another videos we'll do the platinum program, and it's a great program. So, but one thing I want you guys who listen to this, who find this YouTube or on Facebook, wherever, recognize that the Golden State Finance Authority is also known as National Home Buyers Fund outside California. So this program goes, I think, nationwide except New York. I think, is that correct?
So yeah, it depends, because we have participating lenders, and that's really, I'm glad you mentioned that, Scott. So basically how the program works is you guys wouldn't call me. We actually have a list. You would call Scott or one of our other participating lenders that provide the program. So how it works is you would connect with one of our participating lenders, and they would take you through the process of applying for the program and the home loan at the same time, since they are a package deal. And so out of state, we have a couple of national lenders that offer the program in various states. You have to call them specifically because they have different programs available. Some of them do offer the program in New York, Scott.
Okay, there you go. Hey.
Yeah, so it's but again, it's just about getting the correct information. So we do have a couple of participating lenders nationally. If there's anybody watching this who's not buying a home in California, but they're still interested in the program, go to our website and give us a call. Even if you call the California number, we can still get you information on the national option.
So let's do that. So give me your California website, and then give me the outside California website.
Yeah, so the California website, again, is www.gsfahome.org. And that's going to get you to Golden State Finance Authority. That's where we have our Open Doors program. That's where you're going to find Scott and all of our other participating lenders listed there. And for guidance on that, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to walk you through that. And then for the national program, that one's going to be www.nhfloan.com. And that website is a little less specific just because it does apply to the nation, and some of these states have specific requirements that have to be followed. We don't have a lot of content program-wise on the national website because it is going to be specific to your state, your specific situation. And that's when you want to reach out to the lender and find out what your options are in your specific area.
Cool. See, that's one here. So that's what it has. So recognize they're everywhere, but I care about California. That's what I'm at. That's where we live at. Megan and I live in California, so it's all good. It's all good. So anything else you want to leave our people with? So this is all, we're talking about all the Govy stuff. Anything else with the FHA or USDA, anything we should talk about?
You know, I don't really have anything specific I want to say, but I do know that a lot of times in the course of a borrower doing their research on buying a home and the programs available, that there can be an information overload. And then sometimes there's just, you know, getting too down into the weeds with details and counting yourself out of the process. If you hear there's an income limit or a FICO score requirement and you say, oh, that's not my number, I don't qualify, you could be missing out on an opportunity. There could be an unturned stone there that if you just kind of gave the process a chance, you might get over a hurdle that may not even be there, right? So basically, long story short, don't count yourself out of this. If you are interested in buying a home, at least inquire about your eligibility so you know where you stand. And if you're not ready yet, you can at least find out what it is that you need to do to get ready.
And especially if somebody, if a lender on your list or a lender anywhere tries to discourage you from this program, shame on them. But if they do that, you know, that's when you go out to the website, look up under lenders who's available, contact somebody you know on there and actually talk to them, because there are some people out there that don't want to deal with this. They just basically, you know, who knows why. And I mean, it's sad because, you know, the way we, you know, do real estate is going to first time home buyers or people buying houses to continue to keep our economy rolling forwards. And so you know, we last year, Megan and I had a lot of conversation about 2020 about people saying that program died. It never died. They were live through the whole 2020. Megan and I shot 10 million of videos about this, telling the planet that, hey, these guys are telling that garbage. They're lying to you. You need to go around and find somebody who wants to help you. And that's the kind of conversation. I know, Megan, you preach this every day.
I do, Scott, and I 100% agree with you. I mean, the reality is that not all lenders are there to help, although most are. But you know, at the end of the day, we're humans. We have our own personal motivations. We have our own professional motivations. But to your point, I think some people just have some outdated concepts and understandings of down payment assistance. And so they think it's going to be more work. They think it's going to take a lot of time. They think it's going to just drag everybody down and turn everybody off, or it's going to be, you know, this outrageous interest rate, or, you know, some kind of catch that's going to, you know, end up short kicking the borrower. And that's just not the case. I think there's a lot of, you know, kind of archaic understanding of down payment assistance that's just not present with the GSFA program. So to your point, Scott, you know, when you have, as a borrower, if you have a loan officer who's discouraging from you from using assistance, then that could be your indicator that they're not really interested in helping you, right? Because in that case, you're expressing that you have a need for assistance. Your loan officer should be tuned into that need and be trying to figure out ways to help you get that done. So just nobody's pressured to do anything. You guys are making a huge investment into your future and long term, and you need to be comfortable with the person you're working with. And that's where somebody like Scott, who's competent, customer service oriented, and focused on getting your results, is somebody you want to call.
I appreciate that. And then that's one thing, you know, that Megan's awesome at is that we have a person we usually know who's on a platform bashing a program. After I talked to Megan, that conversation changed dramatically because of old myth garbage. So people don't know the program, don't want to be on top of this program, you know, that they need to contact Megan. They know how to do the whole. You don't need to you don't give our consumers, they don't need your number because, you know, but what they need to do is, you know, tell them to go to the, you know, GSFAhome.org website and then tell them to contact GSFA, and they'll click on Megan. She'll break it down for you because they're doing some great stuff. And, you know, I appreciate what you do, and you guys make it happen. You've been doing this for, you know, your company, Golden State Finance Authority, has been doing this for probably at least 30-ish years or more.
Yeah. Right around in there. Yeah. So it's almost 30 years. And we've helped almost 85,000 families with over $600 million in assistance. So we're here, and our programs are privately funded. So you don't have to worry about money running out or funding being unavailable. It's just a matter of finding out what you qualify for and your lending team getting in there and doing the work.
And the biggest piece I love with Golden State is that there's no second underwrite, there's no second anything. That loan gets done, it's gone. You're cooking out that bad boy. So when you make an offer on a property with your realtor, then, oh no, down payment assistance, oh no, take longer. It take no longer. A bad English, but I want to get the point across.
That's it, Scott. I mean, you nailed it. That's 100%. One of the reasons why a lot more people aren't using this is because they think it's taking longer. When I say your loan officer needs to do the work, it's just reading the guidelines and submitting the loan. I mean, which they're doing anyway, right? So basically we don't add anything additional to the process the lender has to approve. So there's no extra time involved in providing you the assistance.
And the funny thing is, guidelines only 5 pages long. So dude, really, TLDR, too long didn't read, that don't apply here. You can't say that. 5 pages, if you can't read 5 pages, man, I don't say for you.
Right.
But so good. So I'm gonna wrap it up. So I thank you as always. Appreciate your time, appreciate your knowledge, appreciate your givingness of talking about your program. And I just thank you again. I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Scott. Thank you for your platform and for spreading the good news. We appreciate you.
We appreciate that. All right. Bye, guys.